Well, good afternoon and welcome to this lunch hour webinar, 5 Steps to Goal Setting Success. Welcome, glad to have you with us today. My name's Philip Malarides and I'm going to be taking you through the 5 steps to success. And we're going to be using the DOPART methodology. It's something that I created probably about a year ago when I really got into goal setting. Before that, um, goal setting wasn't actually something that I consciously looked at. It wasn't something that I consciously worked on, but it was something that I was following. And as we go through today, you'll kind of understand why. So who am I? Well, Philip Malarides, that's my name. I've got over 30 years SME experience, so I know and understand what you as a small business owner are going through. I understand the ups and the downs of small business. Started my journey in McDonald's, actually. That was my first job. And it soon became clear that actually, if you wanted to follow the corporate model, it was very closed, very narrow-minded way of thinking, whereby being in small business, you understand that actually as a small business owner, you have to do everything. You have to wear many hats. And letting go is something that's very hard to do. I've also got 25 years experience in property investing, followed many strategies there, held senior management positions in small businesses, and also owned my own businesses, started, finished, sold up, all those kind of things, and managed the finance, IT, sales, HR, and facilities teams within the businesses that I was involved with as an employee, if you like. And I am the UK's #1 accountability partner and speaker. Although these days I don't do much speaking because obviously because of coronavirus, we don't really get the chance to get out there and speak in front of audiences. I think the last one that I did was actually it was on the 29th of February this year to a group of 500 people. So that was the last time I actually did any speaking, which I kind of miss actually. So let's crack on because we've only got the hour. Hopefully we should be finished within the hour. We've got a lot to get through today. So I hope you've got pen and paper just to make some notes. And obviously at the end, I'll give you my email address. So if you do have any questions, you can just pop me a quick email and ask me whatever you like. So first of all, we're going to look at what goals are. And I kind of looked up in the dictionary and I looked up Wikipedia. So in the dictionary, it says the goal is the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. And as such, that's pretty clear, isn't it? And that's what a goal is. But then Wikipedia takes it a bit further. It says a goal is an idea of the future or desired result that a person or a group of people envision, plan, and commit to achieve. People endeavor to reach goals within a finite time by setting deadlines. A goal is roughly similar to a purpose or aim, the anticipated result, which guides reaction, or an end, which is an object, either a physical object or an abstract object that has intrinsic value. So Wikipedia goes so much further when they're talking about the goals. And actually, what we need to do, what we're doing with goals, we follow SMART goals, which we'll come on to a bit later. And actually, this says it all here: envision, plan, and commit to achieve. And those are all included within the DOPART methodology. And here it is. D, for example, is dreams. They're your vision. They're where you want to go. That's the destination. Objectives for O, those are your goals. Those are the things you want to achieve within your life. And the thing with goals is that they're just all over the place all of the time. We have our life goals, we have our long-term goals, where we want to get to in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years even. That's our life roadmap that we're going to be following. But then we have lots of short-term goals because not everything is aimed towards what we want to do in the future. We have things that we want to get done now, this year, this month even. things that, we're working towards. Maybe we're taking on some learning at the moment because we're in coronavirus. We want to improve our learning, our knowledge. So we're doing lots of courses. So we set ourselves goals. We say, okay, I'm doing this online course. I want to do it within 6 months. And then we set ourselves up to be able to do it within that 6 months. And we set out a plan to which we follow. So that's 6 months. That's something that's immediate. But then if we're thinking about where we want to be in 5 years, maybe we want to have a house, own a house in 5 years' time. We've got to start thinking now about where we're going to be in the 5 years. We need to set aside a deposit. So how are we going to get that deposit? How much deposit do we need? How are we going to save for that deposit? And then we've got to think about, okay, well, that's just a deposit. How am I going to get a mortgage? How am I going to get the loan to actually afford that property? So then we're thinking, okay, I need this kind of job, or I need this kind of business to be up and running. And that's where we need to look at the objectives in order to get to our goals in the future. And it's not just the house, because we need to think about where we want to live, where that house is going to actually physically be. So are you living at the moment in an area that you want to live in? Or are you thinking about moving areas? Maybe you live in the city and you want to move out of the city because it's too busy, it's too bustling, and you want more space. Or is it that you found the space of the countryside too much? Some people go the other way. They want to move back into the city because they miss the hustle and bustle. They miss everything being so close and on your doorstep. Whereas in the countryside, you need a car really in order to go to the shops, for example. So goals can be anything. And then we look at P, planning. So once we know what our objectives are, we need to plan how we're going to get there, what we need to do. Those are our tasks. And we need to know what our tasks are on a daily basis. It's not just, looking at a year ahead, but we need to know what we're going to do today that will help us reach our goal, reach our end game, reach our destination. And then A is probably the most important part of the whole methodology. It's about taking action. Because if you don't take any action, you won't get anywhere. The saying is, if you don't change, you will never change. And that's so true. We need to be doing something. It doesn't actually matter what it is or how much it is, because small steps added together actually become quite large. But without doing something, we won't move at all. It's a bit like when you're out on a boat sailing. If you don't have any wind, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to sit still. And actually, the water's going to move you along. So it doesn't matter how little you do, whatever you do is going to move you forward. And sometimes we need some accountability as well, because doing it on our own, it's easy for us to make excuses. We make excuses for ourselves as to why we don't do things. And so having someone there to hold you accountable for what you're doing is so important. And that's something that I can help you with a little bit later on as well. And then we also look at the R, the reward. You need to have a reward set in place for when you actually achieve your goals. Because there's nothing like the feeling of actually winning. You reach the end of the goal, you've done it, you've succeeded in doing what you wanted to do, getting what you wanted to do, being at that position that you wanted to reach. And so you can go out and celebrate, because that's what we do, isn't it? We celebrate. But also at the same time, if we don't reach those goals, and it's because we just haven't tried, we haven't put in the effort, we haven't taken the action, then if we don't give ourselves something that's going to hurt, some sort of pain, the price to pay for not reaching those goals, then that at the same time can be the motivation. And it has to be something that's going to hurt, because that's the way we're going to work and take the action. Because it's so easy, as I said, just to sit around and do nothing and leave it. And you think, oh, well, I'll do that later on. I'll do that later on. It's a bit like when you're setting your targets. Maybe you have sales targets and you do them over a year, like most businesses do. And really, you only look at them in the last quarter of the year to see how well you're doing, whether you're going to actually succeed, because we always just put it off. And so the most work that you're going to do is at the end of the year, because that's when you need to catch up, because maybe you haven't done so well during the year. And that's why we bring it all the way down to 90 days, because then it's got the urgency. You need to work at it now in order to reach your goal at the end of 90 days. Otherwise, you're just prolonging it. You're putting it off. Procrastination kind of seeps in. So we need to review and reward as we see fit. So that's the DOPAR methodology. And that's what I've created. And we're going to follow it through and see where we get to. I need to put in a little disclaimer here, because you've got to be committed. You've got to want to do the work. You've got to do the work, actually, because if you're not committed to it and you don't do the work, you will not receive the results you want. It's hard work. You know, nothing comes to us. Nothing's given to us on a plate. We all have to do something. And when we're working in a job, we kind of do enough work to get by, because we're focused on getting our paycheck at the end of the month. And if you're in that kind of mindset, nothing actually works, and you kind of sleepwalk through your life. But if you've got your own business and you're the one that's got to create the work, you're the one that's got to bring in the money to actually pay yourself, then you need to do the work. Honesty is such an important part of goal setting. Actually, it's an important part of everything that we do, because you've got to be honest with yourself about where you are, where you want to go, and what you're doing for it. Because we can make all the excuses we want to ourselves, and we're gonna agree with whatever you say. If you say, I don't want to work today, I'll just take the day off, I'll do it tomorrow, your brain is gonna automatically agree with you. And actually, with accountability, when you have someone, maybe you've got your friends or your family, your partner, having them as your accountability partner is not going to work, because they want the best for you, but actually they don't want to say anything against you. They want to agree also with whatever you're saying. It might not be what you're thinking, but it's what you're saying, what they're perceiving you want. And they kind of want what's best for you, but it's what's best for you in the way that you want to do it. So they're not really the best people. The best people to have as your accountability partner is someone who's going to tell you how it is. It might not be what you want to hear, but it's something that you need to hear, and they will keep pushing you along. And the other thing is, if you don't write things down, it's just going to stay in your head. And without writing things down, your brain isn't going to get the understanding that that is what you really want to do. It's not about typing it on the computer, because again, your brain doesn't really take it in, because it's just on a screen. It's in the computer. Your brain is like a computer as well, and it's just in the computer. Your brain has to follow the writing of your hands, the actual shape of the words as you write it, and your eyes seeing it as it becomes real. Because when you write it down, it gets it out of your head, and your brain is then ready to say, okay, let's work on this. This is what you want. Let's get on and do it. So these are the things that you really need to work on, and you really need to take note, because if you don't follow these things, it's not going to work. I'm not here to tell you, well, you know, if you do this, it'll be great and all that kind of stuff, because I'm an accountability partner. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear, really. And that's that you're not doing enough work. You're not committed enough. You're not being honest with yourself. And if you haven't written it down, then it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so enough of that. Let's start going through the Dopar methodology, and let's start with dreams. Everyone dreams, don't they? We've got various types of dreams. And all dreams are really important. So don't discount any of the dreams that you have. So we have pie in the sky dreams. These are the dreams that are impossible, really. You know the type of dreams when you're asleep and you're dreaming and things are happening, and you're kind of in a world that's never going to be possible. Those are great dreams, but they will never happen because either the technology is not there, or you dream of living on Venus, for example. Well, I don't know, I can't say really, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But don't discount it because it could be telling you something. And then you've got the really big but never going to happen dreams. And the reason why they're never going to happen is because they're so big and you're not committed enough to actually get there. So it could be that you have the dream of being an astronaut, for example. Let's keep it with space. You want to live on Venus, okay? In order to get to Venus, you want to become an astronaut. Now, we're not going to be able to live on Venus because of the way the planet is, etc. But actually, you could become an astronaut, could you not? Do you think it's possible that you could become an astronaut? It's kind of highly unlikely that you're going to become an astronaut because it's, how many people actually become astronauts? It's a very competitive place, and I don't even know how you become an astronaut, to be fair, but it must be very difficult to get there. So it might be an idea, a dream that's possible, but it's not really ever going to happen. But it's an important dream to have. And then you've got the life-changing dreams. These are the dreams that can actually happen. They are possible in your world if you work hard for them. But the other thing we need to do, and this is where the honesty part really comes into play, are they your dreams? So we look at success because the thing is we go to school and we're taught in the wrong way sometimes. We're taught not to copy people because that's cheating. But then we get into adult life and actually when we're looking for success, we need to copy people who are successful because it's not cheating, but they're doing something right, and so we want the success that they're having. And the other thing is, the passing of exams, we need to learn all this information to just regurgitate it. Well, actually, in the real world, that doesn't get you any further. What gets you further in the real world is taking action and learning from those actions. That's how we move forward. So we're also coming up with that success idea, the idea of success. What is success? What is your idea of success? Because when we look at success, we kind of automatically think of a big house, a nice car, lots of, fantastic holidays, all these kinds of things. But is that what you want? It might be what you want. If you are the stereotypical person who wants success as in that, then they are your dreams. But to most people, those are our only dreams, expectations of success, because that's kind of what we've been told. So you need to take time out and just think, okay, what is success to me? What do I really want? And that's why we're dreaming a lot. That's why we need to be dreaming, because we need to figure out what it is we want ourselves. You might want a nice house. That's fine, but it doesn't have to be big. And your dream might be to have it in a certain place. I have a dream. I have a dream of having a house on an island, and I'm kind of thinking, you know, maybe Cyprus or Mallorca, those kind of islands in the Mediterranean, and I want it so it's overlooking the sea. I want to be able to sit on my veranda or on my patio or something like that, and be able to sit there, relax, reflect, and be able to see the sea. That's my dream. Doesn't have to be a big house. I'm not after a huge mansion. I'm just after a nice house with those views. So you need to be finding out what is yours. So how do you do that? Well, we all dream all the time, don't we? We dream in our sleep. We kind of daydream when we end up looking out the window because we're bored with what we're doing. Just start thinking. And the best ways really is take yourself away from everything. Take yourself away from distractions. I always find that I really think a lot when I'm walking the dog. You know, we go out, we're walking the dog. I'm aimlessly following where the dog is taking me. I don't have to think about anything. You know, the dog is taking me. She's deciding where we're going, which direction we're going in. So we just go for a walk, and I'm looking up in the sky, and at the moment thinking how blue it is because there's no aircraft. And it's such a fantastic time because you just start to think for yourself, and you're looking at nature, and it's such a great atmosphere to be in. And you can actually start thinking for yourself. And it's an amazing thing. But the thing is, when we think of these things, if you're anything like me, I keep forgetting. I'll think of these things, I think, oh, that's such a great idea. And then I forget it. So what we need to be doing is writing everything down as well as we start thinking of them. So when we're talking about our dreams, it's if you have an idea about something, write it down. Write it down. And what we need to be doing when we're thinking about what we're going to be doing with our goals is take some time out, get your notebook, get your journal. If you have a journal, you should have a journal because you need to be writing everything down. And if you haven't got a journal, go and get one. Go and get an A5 notebook kind of thing, and get your pen and just take it everywhere with you and just keep writing things down. So take some time out, somewhere you're not going to be disturbed, and then think about all the things you want. Everything, absolutely everything you can think of, what you want, and just write them down. You should come up with about, 101 different things that you want. It could be you want to go traveling. Okay, if you want to go traveling, where do you want to go traveling? What places do you want to go? Maybe you want a house. That's fine. What sort of house do you want? Where do you want it to be? What sort of furniture do you want in it? Maybe you want to get married sometime. Okay, that's great. What sort of person do you want to get married to? You want to have children. What sort of garden do you want with your house? What sort of car do you want to drive? In life, we have absolutely everything. We've got so much choice. But what is it that you want? A lot of times we want things because someone else has got them. It might not be that we actually want them. We get given gifts, don't we? I got given a gift at Christmas. It's one of these music things that you plug into your TV and that kind of thing, and it streams the music. Great. I've hardly used it because actually it's not something that I wanted, and I get my music somewhere else. So it would be a change for me to start using it. And actually that's not really what I want. It's what someone else thought that I would want. And it's not. So it just sits there. It's not in the box, it's by the TV, and it doesn't do much. It gathers dust actually, and it means that I have to clean it to get rid of the dust. So that's not something that I wanted. So you need to think about what you want and just write all these things down. And you should come up with, several pages, 101. Go for 101 things, because these dreams are where you want to go. They're your destination, because we're looking at creating this roadmap for yourself. And we need a destination, but it doesn't matter how you get to that destination, because, sometimes we can make a wrong turn, and it's okay because we can get back on the right track. It's a bit like when the sat nav takes us to the wrong place. it's okay. Or if we turn right and we should have turned left, the sat nav will recalculate and tell you how to get back on track. But we're always going to the same destination, and that's very important. And when you're writing everything down, when you're thinking, when you're dreaming, it doesn't matter what you're dreaming about. So it can be about personal, it can be about your personal life, like getting married, that kind of thing, or it can be about business. So you want to create a business. Okay, what sort of business do you want to create? What sort of business do you want to run? What are the products or the services? How big do you want the business to be? Do you want it to be a lifestyle business that's going to pay for your lifestyle? So then you've got to think about what your lifestyle is or what you want it to be like. And then you can understand how much money you want the business to generate. Maybe you want a bigger business where you've got an office and you've got staff and you've got people buzzing around and everyone's doing everything for you and you're just at the helm and you're reaping the rewards of everyone else's hard work. It's up to you, because some people don't want that. That's a lot of responsibility, and it might sound good. You might be thinking, yeah, well, when I'm down the pub, I'm talking with my mates, or I've met someone new, and they say, "What do you do?" And I say, "Oh, I've got this business, and I've got this office, and I've got all this staff, and it's fantastic." And it's hard work. Is that what you want, or do you want to be an independent kind of person, a one-man band, for example, that is in control of the business? But that doesn't mean to say that you don't get other people to do the work for you. We outsource work. So maybe you don't need this big company because you can do it all yourself, because you don't need £1 million turnover, for example, because most of that's going to go into staff costs and rent for the offices and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you just need yourself, and depending on how much money you need, that is where you need your business to be. So write it all down. Discover something about yourself. Discover yourself. Really think about what yourself. Understand what you want, because your dreams are going to be creating your vision. Your vision is your destination, is where you want to go. And something that's a great idea with your vision is to make it personal. Again, we're coming back to honesty, aren't we? You need to be honest with yourself because it's very personal to you. It needs to be in the present. So what I mean by that is when you're thinking about your vision, when you're thinking about where you want to go, the way some people use it is you imagine yourself at 60 in your rocking chair on your porch and you're looking back at your life. Some people do 60, some people say, we'll do it in 12 months. Where do you want to be in 12 months? Take yourself in that place. And then when you're writing down what you want, write it down in the present. I have a lovely house with whatever you want it to have. Say, I have those things, or I will have those things. Because instead of saying, I want those things, that's completely different. If you're saying you have them, then your brain says, okay, I have them. So, I'm going to work hard for these things. Be positive about it. Don't be negative. It's always, I can't afford this. I can't afford that. I haven't got any money for that. I'm not in the right place. Don't say that. Say, how can I make that money? What do I need to do in order for me to have these things? What am I having to do right now that means I have the nice house? All positive, because then that lifts you up. If you say you don't have it, you can't have it, there's no way you're going to get it, then you know what? You're never going to get it, because your mind says, okay, you're never going to have it. That's fine. I'm agreeing with you. I'm not going to help you do anything in order to get that. But if you say, right, what do I need to do? I need to do X, Y, and Z to get myself there. So then your brain is going to start helping you get to that point. Passion and purpose. Your business should be about what you want to do. It should be about you, because if you enjoy what you do, if you're passionate about what you do, people see it. People are more likely to work with you. And then it's about your passion rather than the money, because the money will come if you're passionate about your business. If you build your business in the right way, if you work hard at your business, if you keep taking the actions, then the business will come. And you will have a purpose as well, because you're creating your vision. And it's the 4 P's that we need to work with to create our vision. And when we're thinking about our vision, once you've kind of got your vision in play, think about what you need to do to keep that vision in the forefront of your mind. So you might want to create a vision board, for example. If you're a very if you're that type of person, a very visual person that needs to see things, then cut out pictures from magazines or print them out off the internet, those kind of things. Make your vision board and stick them up on the wall. Put them up in the kitchen. Put them on the fridge with all those fridge magnets you have. Start using those to put things on your fridge, because then it will be in the forefront of your mind every single day. Every time you go into the kitchen, you'll see them and they'll remind you, and you'll go, yeah, you know what, one day I will have that. I'm working towards that. So the way we create our vision, our wish list, if you like, or your bucket list, you know, there's so many words to describe your vision, but it's, again, it's being honest with yourself and use your imagination. We're allowed to do that. We're allowed to be creative with our own minds. Why not? Find somewhere that's out of the way, you know, somewhere you're not going to be disturbed. If you have to take your phone with you, then put it in silent, put it in your pocket away so you can't see it. Or if you're at home, you know, turn the TV off, make sure no one's going to come knocking, put the phone away, you know, get rid of all distractions and just be able to think and use that imagination and be creative and think about what you want. And again, write down the 101 things. And it doesn't matter what they are. Just write them down. It doesn't even matter if they sound so stupid. You know, you think, oh, that sounds really stupid. That's okay. It's your list, not for anyone else. It's your list. Write it down. It doesn't matter, because it's helping you get everything out of your head, and it's helping you push to the future to create that vision that you want to create. And also discover your why. Why are you doing things? Why do you want to run a business? What is it that you want to give back? What is your purpose? What do you want out of life? Because that why is very important, but sometimes it's very difficult to discover. It's very difficult to find out what it is we want, because half the time we're not honest with ourselves, and it takes someone else to ask you the questions so that then you'll come up with the answers. Because you can sit there asking yourself, why do I want to do this? Why am I doing what I want to do? Why? And we come up with some weird and wonderful things. You know, why do you want to do that? Well, I want to earn some money so I can do this. That's not a real why. You know, your real why is deep inside yourself. So you've got to keep asking yourself and ask yourself the right questions. And that's why it's so difficult, because we can't do that. We can't ask ourselves the right questions, because that's too difficult. It's going to put us into an uncomfortable place we don't want to go, and we're not going to do that to ourselves. You know, it's not going to put us into a place where we're going to cry, you know, because we don't want that for ourselves. So it's important to get someone else to be asking the questions and discover what your passion and purpose is. Because you might think it's something, but actually it's something completely different. So we've done our dreaming. We've done the first part. We've written down all our dreams. Now we're going to start working on those dreams, and we're going to change those dreams into our objectives, into our goals. So you take your list, and we're going to work through this list. So and we use the wheel of life actually in different ways. But we need to prioritize and sequence our goals, because some of these goals are going to be long term. You know, if we want the dream house, for example, then that's going to be 5 years, 10 years. I don't know how long it's going to take you to get into that position. So they are long term ones. Other ones can be short term. They're the ones that we want uh, within the year, for example. So if we're starting a business, for example, we haven't even started yet. We kind of decide what business we want to do, but we need to get on to do it. And you know, the short term goals are the different areas within that business that we need to work on. For example, I've just started a business to show people how you start a business, and it's now the 1st of July. It's been around for a month. I started it on the 1st of June, and we've got to the point where now we're live. We're selling things, we're delivering things, we're making things, and it's great. But in order to get to that point, we had to have certain milestones. We needed a website, for example. We needed to set up the payment systems. We needed to find out, because we're doing cream teas, so we needed to find out the ingredients, the recipes that we're going to be using, all these different things, and they became short-term goals, very short-term goals, and they're within the 90-day period of going to start a business, and so everything's happening within those 90 days. So you can see that it doesn't matter what the goal is, whether it's personal, whether it's business, there is a place for it. And it could be a short term, very short term, 90-day, or it could be a long term, maybe you want to buy a new car. Well, you can't do that right now, maybe in a year, but how are you going to get there in that year? And we follow the wheel of life. And I don't know whether you've seen this before, but it's used in life coaching quite a lot. So we look at the different areas of our life. So we've got, health, family, social life, work, money, home, travel, and spirituality. And you kind of you work on this, and you say where you are within this wheel of life, and we work on our goals in each area. So for health, for example, you might not be healthy, or you might not feel healthy. So how do we get healthy? Well, you need exercise. Okay, your goal says maybe you have a weight issue, for example, which is quite common in the health area. When you say, right, I want to weigh this much, that's fine. Work on that. Family, maybe you have a dysfunctional family, for example. Maybe you haven't seen your parents for some time. Your goal is to make back contact with your family. All these different things. So whatever you have on your list, you start to work through all these different sections and prioritize and sequence them. So put them in some kind of order in actually working with them. And then we're going to rewrite those goals. So you're going to start with the goals that you actually want to achieve quickly, and rewrite them using SMART methods. Now remember the 4 P's from your vision. So it's about being in the present. It's about having passion and purpose. And remember these things because you'll need them. Be in the present and write it in positive language, and then create the vision board. So what are the SMART methodology that we're using? You must have heard it, or you may have heard it, or maybe not. Most people have heard of SMART goals, but the S is for specific. So in the health section there, I mentioned about losing weight, which is quite a popular one. So don't just say, I want to lose weight. When we're writing your goals, you need to say, I will weigh 10 kilos. I don't know, whatever it is you want to weigh. It's an individual thing. And again, you be honest with yourself. Don't say, if you weigh 25 kilos at the moment and you want to weigh 10, that's a lot of work. So your first goal needs to be gradual. So I will weigh 20 kilos in 90 days. Measurable. Again, let's stick with the weight one. So you want to weigh 20 kilos So that's measurable because you can see as the time goes on how much you weigh at the intervals that you pick. So you weigh 25 kilos, 25 stone, and you want to weigh 20 stone within 90 days. Okay, at the end of each week, you're going to be weighing yourself and you're going to see how the journey goes. You can see whether it's working or not. You can see whether you need to make adjustments on what you need to do. Again, you need to be taking the action. A is attainable. So you have to be able to reach it. You have to be able to get there. Now, when I said 25 stone down to 10, that's a really big ask. You know, is that really attainable for a goal? It might be a long-term goal, but the short-term goal that you're working on, it needs to be attainable. So, you know, it might be that 5 stone might be really pushing it for 90-day period. So, and you need advice on that kind of thing. So if we say, you know, maybe, okay, 25 to 20 is not attainable, but maybe 25 to 23 is. So the goal will then become, I will weigh 23 stone or 22 stone in 90 days on, you know, if we look at now is 1st of July, August, September. So the 30th of September, I will weigh 23 stone. Relevancy. It's got to be relevant to what you want. And actually losing weight, you know, you want to become slimmer, you want to fit into these clothes and all that kind of stuff. Actually, that is relevant to what you want and is relevant to what you want to do. And T is time-based. So we need to put a time on it. So I said, I will weigh 22 stone by the 30th of September. So we're giving ourselves a deadline. Deadlines are so important because the brain likes deadlines. And when we look at, before I mentioned about the sales targets, and we normally work them over a year, well, we know that, you know, when it gets to month 10 and we haven't reached the targets or we're nowhere near, we're going to work really hard because the time is running out. We have a date whereby that ends. Instead of making it a year, bring it down to 3 months, bring it down to that 90 days, because that's that sense of urgency. We work better when we have that sense of urgency. And that's how we create the SMART goals. So you need to go back to your goals, figure them out, put them in sequence, prioritize them, and then write them out using the 4 Ps. And write them out in a way that you want to follow. So, you know, don't pick too many, because if we've got too many goals to work with, it's not going to happen because we've got too many things, too many juggling. So pick the ones that are really important to you now for your next 90 days. Normally about 3 is good. Generally speaking, when I'm working with business owners, we kind of pick 2 goals for the business. So we generally look at sales and marketing, for example, and then the operations. So we have 2 goals there within the business. And then we have 1 personal goal for the business owner themselves. And we work those through the 90-day process. So we've written our goals. We've done the dreaming. We know what our goals are. We know where we want to go. We've got a vision. We understand why we're doing it. Now we've got a plan. Now we've got to figure out how we're going to get there. How are we going to do it? So we need to identify the tasks that are required to reach our target goal. Now, if we let's stick on the weight loss. I don't know why I chose that one. It's kind of just came to my head. So, and it's quite a good goal to actually explain the process. So we want to go from 25 stone down to 22 stone. Okay, how are we going to do that? How are we going to lose that weight? Well, I mean, you know, is it obvious? I don't know, maybe it isn't, but we need to possibly eat less. Maybe we need to eat more healthy. Maybe we need to exercise more. Maybe we need to sleep more. Maybe we need to be more active in our jobs. You know, there's so many things that as we're thinking, we can start identifying what we need to do. Those are our tasks, and those become our weekly tasks, because those are what we're going to be measured upon. So when we're doing our tasks, Actually, they should be enabling us to lose the weight, and therefore we can measure that on a weekly basis. So we list the tasks that we need to complete. So if we're gonna change the way we're eating, okay, what do we need to eat? What are the sort of foods we need to eat? Maybe come up with a menu plan for the week. That's one of our tasks. So our task is to create a menu and a menu plan that we're going to use. So every day we know what we're going to be eating and what we're not going to be eating. Then maybe we need to get some exercise. So maybe we need to join a gym, you know? So the task in the first week is join a gym. And then we're going to be needing to go to the gym every day, maybe, and do light exercise for the first few weeks and then work it up to the different things. Maybe we need a personal trainer. So that's another task for the first week. We need to get a personal trainer. All these things are pushing us to where we need to go. And at the end of the week, you know, you need your accountability person to say, okay, what were your tasks for this week? What have you done? And where are we? It's for the accountability person to measure where you've come from and what you need to do in the following week to maybe get you back on track, or pat you on the back and say, you're doing brilliantly. You're in the right place. You're going in the right way. You're going to reach your goal at the end of 90 days. Or it might be, you know what, you haven't done much this week. You haven't done any exercise. What are you doing? Why haven't you been to the gym? It just needs that person to help you along the way. And you need to give a date to complete the goal. So again, it's 90 days, but it's each week. So if you're measuring it on a weekly basis, it's right. My tasks for this week, the end date is next time we meet, next time we talk. That's the end date. The end date for the goal is the 90 days. But all the time, each week, you're going to be checking up. Don't do it too often. So don't do it on a daily basis, for example, because you haven't got a chance to do anything or see if something works. Or it might be that that particular exercise doesn't work, so you're going to change what you're doing, or it just doesn't work out for you. Might be that the gym's not right for you. Might be that you just need to go for long walks, maybe get a dog and that kind of thing. And then the most important part of all, we come to actions, because you need to take action, as I mentioned before. Nothing will change if you don't change. So we need to know when we're going to start. Well, no time like the present. Obviously, we need to come up with some goals first, don't we? We need to figure out what our dreams are. But that needs to happen today. You know, what's your excuse? Why can't you start today? Get the ball in motion. Because, you know, having your dreams, finding out what your goals are, finding out what your objectives are, writing down the tasks, finding out what you need to do, all these things can start today. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Start today. Do what you need to do. And what do you need? Well, you just need yourself, because you're the only one that can decide what you want and where you want it and how you want it and all these things, because it's you. It's about you. No one person's goals are the same. You are unique. That's what makes us great. We are all unique. And you need to celebrate that fact. You need to celebrate who you are. Because if you're different, then that's great. Because most of the successful people are different, you know, because they're not following the crowd. They're not the sheep that's just following along the next person. We're doing our own thing. We're being creative with ourselves. We're coming up with ideas and following those ideas. That's what you need to do. And then also, you need to find someone who's going to help you with your goals. We all need a little bit of help. It's not a bad thing. It's not a sign of weakness. Actually, it's a sign of strength, because you're putting yourself out there. You're asking for the help from someone. You just need to find that right person. So who's going to help you reach those goals? They're not going to do the work for you, but they can help you reach your goals, move you along. Muhammad Ali once said, even the greatest was once a beginner. Don't be afraid to take that first step. That's the problem. The first step. Once we get going, we kind of get going. It's like if you're pushing a car, for example, you take the car out of gear and it's a flat road and you're pushing the car. To get it going, it's really hard work, isn't it? You've got to really push and dig in to get it going, to get it rolling. Once it's rolling, it starts to become easier and easier. And once you get up to a little bit of speed, it kind of does it itself. And that's what the first step is all about. It's very difficult to do, but it can be done. So how do you begin? How do you begin taking these actions? Because we've got to create new habits. And we've got to do that with small steps. So you take the small steps, but you take them all the time. So it's about consistency. It's doing things all the time. And once you've been doing them, there's so many different time analogies that people use for creating new habits. It could take you a week, could take you a month. It depends on you. But if you keep doing them consistently all the time, that will create the new habit. And then you'll do it without even thinking about things. So it doesn't matter what steps you take, as long as you take them. It's such an important aspect of it. And the accountability side is that the accountability gives you that commitment, because you need to commit to your journey. And by having someone accountable, you're committing to that journey, because you have to report to them on a weekly basis. If that's what, it might be bi-weekly, might be monthly, but you have someone to look over your shoulder, if you like. It's like having a boss without having a boss. They're not really your boss, but they make sure you do things. They're looking over your shoulder to see what you're doing. And by having that, it gives you the motivation. I mean, doing something you enjoy anyway will give you that motivation. That will self-motivate you because you enjoy it, you want to do it. If you're trying to do something that you don't want to do, or you don't enjoy, or you're just doing it for the money, then you're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to be motivated by it. You're going to keep making excuses as to why you don't do things. And the failure to success. Failure is not really a word we like to use, because when you make mistakes, that's a learning curve. When you don't reach your goal, it's not like a failure. It's just that it hasn't happened yet. And there can be so many different reasons why you haven't reached your goal. But the most important thing is that you've tried. The most important thing is that you have taken the action, and you've shown you've taken the action. By doing that means that you're winning. By doing that means that you're changing your mindset. You're changing the way you work, the way you think, the way you believe in yourself. But these are the things that prevent you from doing that. Procrastination, it's like, again, it's the excuses you give to yourself. That's why the honesty part is so important. Put it off, keep putting it off. Time goes by so quickly. If we're not careful, we get to the end of the week and we think, what have I done? Oh, I was going to do something. Oh, why didn't I do it? We kind of get lost within ourselves. And, we maybe it's a time management thing. We keep picking up our phones and scrolling through Facebook or LinkedIn, and we think we're actually doing some work, but actually we're not. The limiting beliefs. Can I do it? I don't know. Do I believe in myself enough? Is it something I can do? Actually, we need someone to help us along with that. When you're doing something right, you need people to praise you. That's why we have reviews with our businesses, because it shows that we're doing something right. And that shows us that we have that belief within us, because we believe in it. We enjoy it. We like doing it. And the excuses we make to ourselves, continually we make excuses because we can get away with it. If we're just working with ourselves, we just get away with it. We can make those excuses. I'll do it tomorrow. It's all right, because I'm a bit busy today. I just don't feel like it today. But you know what? Tomorrow's a brand new day. And tomorrow I'll get up and I'll be all cylinders firing and I'll get it done tomorrow. You know what? You need to do it today. No excuses. Forget about those excuses. Do it today. Because if you do it and you work up to it, you get the reward, because that's what we're aiming for, the reward. So we need to review what we've done. We need to look at the results. Maybe we are reaching our goals and maybe we're not. But it shows how committed you are to reaching those goals. And you've got to think about how you're going to reward yourself for reaching those goals. Maybe, if you reach a goal, you're going to celebrate, you're going to go out for dinner. Currently, it's not really possible at the moment with coronavirus, but you can go out for your dinner, decide where you want to go, maybe take your partner, maybe take your friends, all those kind of things. Maybe buy something, give yourself a gift as a reward. But also think about the opposite. What if you don't reach your goal? Why don't you reach the goal? This is why we need to review the results, because you might be thinking, okay, I haven't really done anything. I didn't really work very hard. I kept making excuses. Okay, so we need something just like the reward, but actually it's not a reward, it's a punishment. And you're going to punish yourself for not reaching that goal. And you're going to punish yourself because you haven't worked for the goal that you're working towards. You haven't done the work. You haven't committed yourself to reaching that goal, because that will hurt, and then that will give you the motivation to move further forward with the next 90 days. Because goal setting doesn't stop. Once you've sorted out the goals for the first 90 days, then you're going to be looking at the goals for the next 90 days. So what do I do now? We've been through the DOPAR methodology. We know what we're doing. We looked at our dreams. We looked at our objectives and the goals. We've planned what we're going to be doing. We know what the action is going to be, and we're going to take the action. And we know that if we take the action, we're going to get the rewards at the end when we reach our goal, or maybe we won't quite reach the goal. So we won't reward ourselves, but we won't punish ourselves because we've been taking the action. Think of this as your personal development plan. You've created the goals, you've written the goals down, you know what you're going to be doing. That's your personal development plan. You're committed to that plan. You're going to write out, I am committed to this plan, and you're going to sign it and date it. And then you're going to give it to someone, because then they're going to help you become accountable. It's now up to you to start. Get an accountability partner, because they're the ones that are going to help you through it. Now, I am an accountability partner, and what I'm going to introduce you to now is the 90-90-90 plan. It's a 90-day program. It's 90-minute session via Zoom every 30 days, or it can be however often you wish. But generally speaking, it's every 30 days. If you want to do it every week, we can do that for you as well. You also get one-to-one support via text messaging or email with me anytime during the week. It's fine. You can send me a message and we can have a chat on the phone if need be, at £90 per session. So that's 90-90-90. If you want to apply, send me an email to philip@philipmilton.com. It's on the screen there. Take a screenshot or whatever you want to do with this page. Send me an email. I make it difficult for you because if you want to do it, you will do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, because then you're not going to move forward and you're not going to win. So thank you very much for your time today. Remember, if you need help with your goals, send me an email and we'll get the ball rolling. You can come on my 90-90-90 day plan and we can take it from there. So that leads me to say thank you very much for listening today, and I wish you all the best with your goal settings.